Welcome to Sumbits, where we decode the PowerSchool development experience. Sumbits is brought to you by MBA. Let's start the show.
Oh, hey, Ryan. What have you been up to? Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in, man, it's been a long time.
Yeah, since like August 2024, 23.
I think it was 23.
Wow.
It makes me wonder.
Who's that other guy that you...
What was...
Schaitel!
Eric!
Look at these guys!
What's
happening,
doing?
gentlemen?
Have you stopped since our last episode?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
You both look so pretty today.
It's been a long
Good
time,
to
my
see
friend.
you again.
What have you been up
Ryan,
to?
you haven't aged a day. And Sean.
Well, I'm glad I don't look that way.
Yeah, hi Sean.
I have. It's been a long time seeing you guys. What's been new? What's been going on?
Oh my gosh. What hasn't been new?
Has anything changed in PowerSchool at all?
I think PowerSchool's pretty much the same.
Okay. All right. Good episode.
Yeah,
Have
well,
a good evening.
now,
Long
hey
time since
everyone.
Pinstripes.
It's definitely been a while. Hey everyone, I think Sumbits is back. What do you think, guys? Should we record an episode?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, we're here. We got some free time. Do you need to check with Shauna, Eric?
I've always been told it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So let's soldier on, shall we?
Makes a lot of sense. Well, hey guys, welcome to Sumbits. We are going to make a concerted effort to actually bring out some more episodes. This is going to be your welcome back episode. We honestly didn't realize that it has been that long since we have recorded, but we did just look. And what did you say, Ryan? August
23
of 2023. It is now January of 2026. Let's just let's kind of pretend that none of that happened, and we're just right in the mix of things. Although I gotta say, my background is still the same. I have a few new toys on the back desk. You notice I'm not drinking whiskey today. We got coffee, but I do see a couple new backgrounds with my colleagues here.
Yeah, I'll start. So I think Brian and I both made a move since August 2023. I'm happy to say that I moved out of the Madison area, and I'm about a half hour north now on Lake Wisconsin. So happy to be up here on a lake. So some new digs. I also, as you may notice, started an 80s movie collection. So in the background here, you can see a little never-ending story. I got the Southern Oracle. I got the book. We got the Rock Biter. It might be hard to see, but it's there. It's there. And I got more stuff too.
So just in case you didn't know, Eric was a nerd.
Yes. I do love me my 80s movies, man. That was my era. So yeah, I'm in some new digs, and I believe Ryan's relocated himself as well since August of 23.
Needed more space for all the kids' stuff. So moved to a bigger space, and now we have all the space filled with all the kids' stuff. But yeah, and a new office. A lot of the same stuff in here. More Lego though, as I'm building on it.
Nice. So Eric, I gotta say, I think your angle is still the same, and I think you still have the same tree in the background.
I do have the same tree. That picture might be a little bit different, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, one of these days we've got to do a tour so you can see all the 80s movie memorabilia. I'm pretty proud of all that nonsense.
We could do an MTV Cribs Sumbits edition.
I love it.
Okay, so lots of change with us. Thinking about maybe some of our previous guests. Have you guys talked to anybody from our previous episodes? Any idea what's going on with those guys?
Well, I do know that our original our original guest, I believe he was John Dunleavy. Shout out to John Dunleavy, ladies and gentlemen. I was very sad to see him go for the fine state of Wisconsin, but I believe he moved back out to California. So,
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, miss you, buddy. Hope I get to see you again one of these fine days.
I bet he still remembers some things about PowerSchool.
Yeah, so that's the latest and greatest there. I think our buddy Schmadam Schmarson had about 4 more kids since August of 23.
At least 4.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
everybody,
he's-
Adrian Schmarlson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Adrian's also had a few more little ones. I think Adrian was trying to be the Pope, but got beat out by the Chicago fella.
Noble effort nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm trying to think what other exciting revelations in the lives of our...
Yeah, I was looking back at our
Previous
some of our
attendees.
previous episodes. We do have some bad news, some sad news. Our own Tammy Todd. She brought on a little too much attention going to be a doctor. She was getting her doctorate, and unfortunately, she has now been imprisoned. She's in jail now, and surprisingly enough, for FERPA violations. So she's going to be away from us for a little while.
Do
I
they
was not
have
sure where you were
Wi-Fi
going with that.
in? Do they have Wi-Fi in that prison?
She can work remote, right?
As long as they've got electric socks and Monster Energy drinks,
To
I think
keep her
she's
nice
happy.
and warm. Absolutely. Just kidding, Tammy.
I don't
But no,
think Tammy
honestly,
Todd can be productive in a work environment without a dog sitting on the chair behind her. Actually,
Right. Speaking of dogs, if I can, Lucy, hey, come here. New family member.
oh,
I have a new Lucy pup. She's gonna be mad because I'm gonna put her right back down, but did get a new pup. But no, guys. So honestly, obviously a lot has changed in the last 2+ years, and I think for this episode, all jokes aside, we are very happy to be back recording Sumbits again. Again, sorry for the no whiskey, but it's just gonna have to do. But what I wanted to do today is kind of talk about some of, just at a broad level, things that have changed in PowerSchool since the last time we recorded. It's a pretty long laundry list, but I'm curious as to some of the things that come to mind when you think of the last 2 years of PowerSchool. Some of the things that have either changed in PowerSchool proper, or things that have changed the way that you develop in the last couple of years. Obviously it's been a lot, but does anything come to mind right off the top of your head?
Changes in the way we develop. That's AI.
Absolutely.
oh,
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
I think AI
For
can
Something
sure.
that people that know me, I was very adamantly against and not a big fan of, and then came to the realization that if you can't beat them, you join them, and now I've jumped on full force, and it's awesome.
So what's really funny, Ryan, is I still remember the first conversation you and I had. Because when I think it was ChatGPT, I was like, hey, you know what? I was on there and I was throwing it some PowerSchool questions just to see, what kind of responses you get. And you quickly cut me off and was like, stop. You are teaching it. You are going to put me out of a job. And within about a year, maybe even less, you had definitely changed your tune. And now you're one of the biggest proponents for it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I still don't think I'm wrong, but I got to figure out how to use it. So at least I'm one of the ones who know how to use it, rather than, So I think if you don't embrace it, you're the one who will be left behind, rather than the one who embraces it. I think, in general, I've learned to see it as a tool, though, rather than a rival, and it works really well at that. And all the little things that you'd consider tedious and you would spend time on, and you'd probably stare and go, oh, I don't have to write all that. Now AI is really great at doing those things. So you could focus on the really interesting problems and solutions and the stuff that, as I've experienced, AI is not so great at.
Right. I know for me, like it's been a really useful, it's like a really smart intern.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to take anything that it gives me and just pass it along as my own. But man, for getting like some research done or whatever, in a very short amount of time, get a nice summary. It's a really nice tool. Eric, have you embraced AI at all?
I'm gonna echo Ryan's sentiments, even though I'm not entirely sure Ryan's even with us. I think that may be an AI generated version of him that's joining us today.
I was gonna say, like, when's the first episode of Sumbits gonna come out? That's actually, we're not talking at all. It's just AI versions of us,
right? and I mean, to be fair, I mean, I've listened to some other podcasts on AI and the big picture of AI and what it means for the world. That's a whole nother topic. Let's talk about what it means for developers and for PowerSchool. But I do want to echo Ryan's sentiments. I'm excited to see where things are going with AI. I just think we need to be responsible in how we're using it. And to Ryan's point, the tedium, that's a huge bullet point right there. I think it's great for eliminating some of the tedium. For me personally, I've used it to help generate code, but also to help run some quality assurance on code. I'll highlight a function in my JavaScript and say, hey, I feel like there might be a more efficient way to do this. Do you have any suggestions? And usually it can be pretty helpful. It's certainly not spot on. And I think that's the thing that you hear from developers across the board is really, it's a great tool for helping you to generate code. But as my what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say mentor. I've never met the guy. Anthony Alisea, I think I've mentioned him before. His motto is don't imitate, understand. So same thing with other developers' code, with AI code. It's not sufficient to scrape it off a screen and plaster it in a product and not understand what it's doing. Right. And especially not to quality check it to make sure that it is with all possible permutations of the data being fed into it, it's giving you the expected results. So I think to say not going to replace developers, but it sure can make us a lot more efficient at our jobs as it evolves and as we evolve to learn to use it in our tool set.
For sure.
I agree with especially the understand part. As I've been working with it, I've learned that, I mean, I guess this is also how I use it, but I guess I've learned it's not just almost a preference, but a necessity. I don't ask it to do anything I can't do myself, if that makes sense. It just helps me get there quicker. So when I need a little function that I know in principle how to do, I can very specifically ask it what I want, and then I'm very easily able to look over what it's given me and either agree with it or disagree with it and say, no, that's not going to work. Because then in contrast to someone who doesn't understand what they're asking or what it's giving them, they'll just take it for granted. And I've definitely had to troubleshoot what AI's put together for me. But never because of not understanding. It's just more of, I would say, it not understanding what I needed. In that it just put it together and I can see like, okay, this is where it's gone wrong, and then cue the fun back and forth. I like to really talk to the AI. I'm not in the camp of where, you've heard stories about people that are really talking to their AI, and that's fine. But I still like to be personal.
No judgment.
I still like to be personable with it and say like, hey, so this is really great, but you know what? I think this is where you went wrong. I looked here, and on this line you have this instead of this, and it's oh yeah, you're absolutely right. That is the problem there. My bad, and it's fun to chit chat with that. Just because I don't know, it's rather than just a robotic, verbatim response. There's a bit of personality there, even if it's artificially
What's really
generated.
interesting is obviously it's like impossible to like go back in time and see what the response would have been if you weren't as nice. But in my experience, it does seem to like have really good responses when you're nice to it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, and if it does become sentient, as long as you're nice to it, maybe we'll be saved.
Last time
Fingers
I had
crossed.
it right, I said, thanks for the help. You the man, cool guy. See you at the beach. So you might find me at the beach, and responded, yeah, enjoy the sun, bud. That's that was the response I got back from it. So
It even turned Canadian for you. I love it.
So one thing, Ryan, that you just said really sparked something with me. That's a disappointment for me at this point. I'm hoping. I mean, it's still a relatively new technology, AI. I'm hoping that it'll evolve, but I am a little surprised and disappointed at the number of times that I've asked AI to generate. I generate a function to do ABC for me, and it spits something out, and I run the code, and it crashes. And I'll say, yeah, no, see, that didn't work because at this line, things went haywire. And what you said is the AI will actually say, oh, yes, I see that issue now. And then here's updated code to fix it.
the exact
I
same
just find
code.
that fascinating that, yes, I gave you broken code. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Apparently, I didn't realize that when I generated it for you from the get-go. It's definitely far from perfect, but still a time saver and still a valuable tool.
Did you get back a fixed response, or like have you gotten this? I've gotten times where it almost, and this is where I learned how you definitely need to open up a new conversation and kind of almost clear its recollections of work after a period of time, because I found it going down rabbit holes in those situations where it'll give me a new solution, but it's just a more wordy way of doing the exact same thing. So it doesn't fix anything. And then sometimes it'll almost backtrack and start incorporating things I didn't even bring up that we had worked on in the past, like in previous in the conversation. So yeah, I that is definitely a challenge. I would agree too, though, with getting it to stay on track and fix a problem that it delivered.
Yes, I've definitely found a lot of frustrations with it. Nothing to frustrating to the point that's going to make me stop trying to learn and use it. And because it's constantly learning, I'm optimistic that it will get better as more and more developers are pumping code into it and complaining about the output.
Just out of curiosity, as you use it more, are you learning how to prompt it in a better way to get better responses?
Owen definitely is, and he's got some cool stuff.
You stole my thunder, Ryan. I was talking to Owen earlier today. And
he keeps me in the loop.
I told him I'd be missing a meeting this afternoon because of a recording of our podcast, and I told him I might give him a shout out, and you brought him up before I did. So Owen, for anyone out there, is a new developer at MBA. He started with us about a year ago. He's the kid's fresh off the boat out of high school, and just amazing. Don't tell him I said that. And Owen, if you're listening to a recording of this, please disregard the last 60
If any
seconds.
of you were at our conference last November, you may have had a chance to meet Owen. He was there, right?
I also don't know if fresh off the boat was the right way to say it.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
that might have. Yeah, do we need to edit that one out? I apologize if I offended anybody with
we
that
don't edit
turn of
things.
phrase. Yeah, fresh off the boat. I don't think high school's a boat, but yeah. he's just turned 21 about a month or two ago. So yeah, he's pretty green. But wow, just demonstrated a real aptitude and an interest in AI. And he's shared some things with our development team of how he's worked with AI and prompted AI to say, hey, I want you. And I wish I could remember the details. Maybe we need to invite Owen to join us one of these days. He was prompting AI to say, hey, I want you to be a drill sergeant. I want you to absolutely go ahead, Ryan. I think you.
He's used this for the custom behavior settings in an AI tool we use that integrates to VS Code. Pay extremely close attention to detail. Take more time to think, to go over every detail. You are the best programmer ever. Only use best practices. And so he's entered that into the custom behavior settings of our of the software we use to be an overarching kind of, we'll call it a personality trait of the editor. And as he's been using it, he says it has gone a long way in actually avoiding presenting those first run errors when it gives you. It'll almost be like it goes through and then quality checks itself, going, you know what, there's going to be a problem there, and then comes back with the right solution rather than just going the first thing of it that it thinks and putting it out.
Yeah, I found that very interesting that you can basically request, for lack of a better term, a personality from your AI. And I find it interesting that if he pumped in the request, take more time and analyze more closely. And I would think off the top of my head, like, it's a computer. It's analyzing exactly what you're giving it. But he did comment that he felt like he was getting better responses from his AI tool after providing that prompt, that overarching behavior for every conversation that he has with AI.
So I don't know if you guys knew this, but I did take a course on AI prompting that was really interesting. And one of the prompting suggestions is to include things like that in your prompt, like take your time, you got this, and be like encouraging to your AI tool, and for some reason and somehow that actually does help with responses.
And I think I do know you're in that. You told me about it, and I think you said specifically it's that you give it a role, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of that role is like, from in my use case in my course was more from like a ChatGPT, Claude, casual or not casual, but conversational AI tool, and giving it a role, because if you're talking about work things, maybe you want to have a response as if it was a project manager, or, maybe if it was a customer base, or, but things like that. I mean, it's going to work across the other AI tools as well. So I could imagine it would work in a development world as well. It's really interesting. And yeah, it's I mean, the number of versions that has come out in even like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini just in the last 6 months to a year, and how quickly it is improving and getting better is pretty astounding.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know, maybe we need to find ourselves an AI expert to join one of our podcasts. Like, how much of the improvements that we're seeing are the machine learning from the prompts that are being provided versus the iterations of the versions that are being released.
Yeah.
So Mike, you said last time I talked to you, you might be interested. That's basically saying, hey, we need Mike on this.
Oh, yes.
Mike,
I would say there's
our
one
resident
person.
rocket scientist.
Yeah. If there's one person who, I guess, in my opinion, seems to be very knowledgeable on the subject, it's Mike.
Well, if there's
There you go,
one
Mike. You're
person,
getting
in
called
my
out.
opinion, that seems to be very knowledgeable on just about any subject, I think Mike Grishevsky might be an android. Oh, if you're listening, Mike, we love you. I meant that as a compliment, not a
Absolutely.
The most pleasant and courteous and friendly android ever.
Absolutely. So getting back to the kind of the overall, PowerSchool things that have come out in the last, 2+ years. And one of the big things that come to my mind, and I apologize if you hear the dog, but apparently it's playtime, is the new UI. That's how long it's been since we've recorded. PowerSchool has a brand new UI. I think
So
when
I'm
it
trying
first
to
came
think-
out, it was the enhanced user interface, right? The EUI.
Yep. I'm trying to think back to if it would have been August 2023 that we last recorded. I mean, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So at that point, at least the EUI was optional. Did it exist yet?
That's what I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Oh, somebody will
Been a
comment
long
and
time,
let us know.
right? So I'm sure
But it
somebody
is
has
now
a very
required feature on the latest supported,
correct.
on the minimum supported version of PowerSchool, I believe.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct.
I got to tell you, it took me some time to adjust to. When you click here, it just becomes muscle memory, right? Like, so change is difficult, and then to make things even more
I know exactly what you're doing.
convoluted, we rename some of the pages.
Exactly.
Okay, you knew where I was going with
Yeah,
this.
because I'm like, okay, fine, you moved it, but at least there's a nice universal search that I can look for at the top of the page. But when you change the name of it, then I really can't find it. Maybe it's just
Right.
not there anymore.
Right.
Is it a security issue now? Do I not have access to that page anymore? Oh, wait, it's just called something different.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in the grand scheme of things, I'm going to say applause to PowerSchool for what they did with their navigation. There were some frustrations, and the smart search, to me, I still don't know where to go, where to click to get to where I want to go for half the pages I need to use. Because ever since the enhanced UI, I just type it into smart search. I need to go to DDE. I type in DDE. It's awesome too, because I'll be supporting a client. They'll give us temporary access to their server to troubleshoot any issues they might be having. And I want to know if they have SQL Studio. No props to Schmadam Schmarson for this, by the way, but sometimes I want to know if they have Schmeekbel Schmudio. And
I'll say it's pretty rare that I don't find the customer
Yeah.
has SQL Studio.
Yeah, it's such a great tool, and then you just pop it into that search bar and like, okay, yeah, they got it. I'll do some digging there. But then the struggles, and they're few and far between. I think maybe you guys will disagree, but I'm going to search for the transfer info page.
Yeah.
That's now enrollment history, I believe.
Yep.
I don't even know what it's called because, so I mean, it's funny. I was definitely on board with I resisted change because I was like, it's fine as it is. But then, as a product of my job working with customers that had migrated, I had to start, getting used to it. As I used it more, I became to really appreciate it. And it, just like you're saying, same situation, being able to search things. And I really don't know where a lot of things are because I can search them now. And And then kind of as a funny thing there, it got to the point at one point where I would work with customers who were still using the old UI. And I found myself having a harder time in their systems now because I had gotten so used to the new UI and the smart search and all those features. But yeah, no, back to my point. Now when I encounter one of those pages that are named differently, what I end up doing frequently is now navigating to the menu where I think it should be, and now just scrolling over the links until I see the name of the page in the file path.
Because
and
the
then I'm
URL
like,
is still the same.
there's all enrollments.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what,
URLs
put
are the
yourself
thing.
in the shoes. I try to put myself in the shoes of someone who's just learning this software.
And that's it.
Right.
And what is the better navigation paradigm?
For sure.
It is what we have now, for sure.
Hands down.
100% agree.
Here's one, not related to navigation, but that just popped into my mind. Things that have changed over the last couple of years. We had the data breach issue with PowerSchool. Of course, that was a huge issue. And it was frustrating for a lot of us that the data dictionary was taken down from being publicly available online. Yes, but now I don't know when it was implemented, sometime within the last 6 months, I think, you can access the data dictionary. And I think the new interface that they have for the data dictionary for PowerSchool is really nice. From the help, the question mark icon in PowerSchool. So I was happy to see that change rolled out.
It was only available on the PowerSchool community.
That was a funny one for me too, and on a whole, because I feel like when they took that down, again, resisting change and liking the way I used to do things, I'd only just finally really started using the digital one, because for years before, of course, it was a PDF that you could download.
Right.
And I would just have that and open it up in, whatever PDF reader I have, and I could do a quick search and find, and that was good enough for me. But then obviously that stopped being updated, and I started more frequently needing to have data, like information on newer tables. So I was forced to start, embracing that. And just as I think I really got into it, all of a sudden it was removed, which I understand.
Right.
But it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I finally like this shiny new tool, and now I can't use it.
No, they take it away or just move it. I do want to go back to navigation, because I know one of a super highly used part of the new UI is the favorites. So all of the pages in the new UI have that fun little star. So, whatever your job is, if you're going to the same pages over and over, you guys probably forget about that because we're jumping around, different PowerSchool instances all the time. But for those secretaries and counselors and that are constantly going to the same pages, I know that the favorites tool is a must use.
Well, the favorites, I'm definitely, I don't personally need to use them, but I do need to make sure they work. With any customizations I make. Prior to the new UI, any reports will typically go on the system reports page, and anywhere else, we don't have to think about more to anymore. We don't have to think about the admin nav left anymore. And those are always things you had to consider and where you're putting it. The page catalog,
But now it's page
paradigm,
catalog, right?
it's a little. It was a little bit of a curve, I think, to adjust to it, because it's not so much code. It is, but it's, you're just entering values in an object. But once I've adjusted to it, once I got used to it, I do like that, and it's easy to get everything in where it's supposed to be. But also, the nice thing is, I don't have to include that, because there's still always the customer, or any end user who would prefer to create and manage those things themselves. And
Sure.
you can, make the plugin without thinking then about the navigation, and they'll say, oh no, we'll just handle that. We'll just use the custom links, page in PowerSchool to put it where we need it. Either way, though, using that or using the page catalog then makes it work for favorites and all those things.
Right.
Which is
So, if I may, I just want to jump in case anybody kind of lost where we were going with that. So the page catalog that Ryan was referring to, when you're developing a plugin and you want links to be installed in PowerSchool, upon installation of that plugin, we use a page catalog. It's a JSON file that defines where the links will go and what their text will be, etc. But then there's also, and I haven't used this as much, Ryan, the functionality for the users when so if I'm a user at a district and I create my own custom page, but it's not part of a plugin, I go to
system customization, custom links to create links to the pages that I've created. And I just wanted to call that out as a distinction for any listeners who might not be plugin developers, understanding what a page catalog is.
Sure.
It's part of a plugin that defines those links. But then you also have the ability through the PowerSchool interface to define your own. And
It's actually
big steps
very
forward.
easy to use.
Very easy to use.
I mean, if we're gonna give PowerSchool some props, the new custom links interface, because it literally looks exactly like the menus.
Bonus pro tip: if you're adding links to your student pages, you don't need to include the FRN. That just automatically happens. Bonus tip. If you are, looking to restore a link that used to be in your old UI, and you go, hey, I'll just copy this one, make sure you remove the FRN that you potentially copied, because that will remain and persist. And I've helped users troubleshoot issues where this page, it works for this user, but this user
But it goes to the same kid every time.
Exactly.
No way. I did not know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah, because
so the FRN, that little piece in the URL that defines the student's DCID, so that PowerSchool knows the context of the page to load.
Yep.
Interesting.
And they'll get, we're talking acronyms. I think we had an episode of that at one point. But the FRN will DRF them if it's a user with the wrong access to the particular student record, now that it's hard coded to navigate to.
Is that a new PowerSchool verb? Do you get DRF'd?
Actually, we call it DERFed.
DERFed?
Yes. Yeah, you got DERFed. That is the data restriction framework. Is that what you were referring to, Ryan?
Yes. That DERFing awesome framework.
Lovely.
Other things that are new in PowerSchool, one of the things that comes to my mind, not new, but I know, like, from my perspective, is used a whole lot more than it ever was before, is SSO. Again, not new, but just definitely being adopted a lot more since our last recording.
Well, and I think that feeds into a little bit our conversation. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't keep my finger on the pulse of the World Wide Web and all of the goings on around the world, but I feel like it feeds into the whole AI thing. We need to, and I'm realizing this, I didn't realize this early in my career, and I become more and more conscious of it every day. Security is more and more of a concern. And with AI, especially, it's just, if we're not careful about how we implement our security and our systems, it's easier for bad actors to gain access.
Absolutely.
So multi-factor authentication, SSO, Absolutely. I think that's a big driver behind why we're
Yeah,
seeing
I mean,
more of
and
this.
speaking of MFA, one of the reasons that a lot of people were moving to SSO is because PowerSchool proper didn't have multi-factor authentication, and literally within the last one or two releases, they've actually added multi-factor authentication as an option for the admin portal anyway, which I
You've
think is
just
a huge step.
educated me. I didn't know that
Oh,
was
you
a
didn't know
thing.
that?
Yeah.
Yep. One of our dev servers has it on.
So how does that work? Does it send something to an authenticator app? What's the multi-factor portion?
Yeah, so
You know?
basically, if you turn it on for any of your admin users, they basically go through a setup process where they can use whatever, or not, I can't say whatever authenticator app, but I know there's a lot of options out there. And I know things like, the Google Authenticator, Zoho OneAuth. I'm blanking on some of the other ones. Authy is another one. So literally, it just gives you like a QR code. If anybody has ever set up MFA before, it's a pretty typical process. Go through whatever app you want to use and scan that QR code, and now you can use multi-factor authentication with your PowerSchool login.
Yeah, and I mean, so for the
Very happy to
districts,
see PowerSchool do that.
well, because for the districts that either don't have the infrastructure or ability to go bigger with Microsoft or Google, they still have the option now with PowerSchool at the very least just to secure their information system.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know it's on the admin portal. Is it for the teacher portal as well? I know it's not public. I know it's not for students and parents, but I believe it's also an option for teachers.
That would be awesome. I don't know the answer to that, Ryan. Do you?
No,
But
no.
I do recall a couple of years ago a news article going wide about PowerSchool getting hacked by a student. And I'm going to go ahead and put an asterisk after that one right away with the PowerSchool got hacked, because it wasn't hacked. And I think that's one thing we also always have to keep in mind when a program is violated, is accessed without authorization. Oftentimes it's not due to a fault in the program and the security. It's because a user put a Post-it note on their screen with their username and password, or left their system unattended. And I believe, I forget the specifics of what happened, but it wasn't that PowerSchool got hacked by someone who had some amazing hacker programming skills. It was a social engineering, like someone
Social
found
engineering
a password.
They checked under the keyboard.
Yeah. So I mean, no matter what we do programmatically to protect our data, it's still at the end of the day, it comes down to the people that have access to our data being responsible.
We also throw out that how our definition explanation of that situation is best researched by looking at the public articles that are out there that explain the whole thing. So, no one did literally go and look under a keyboard, just in case, you take that for being serious.
Right.
We don't want anyone saying, hey, the Sumbits guy said it's just a keyboard.
Well, I mean, for working at a school for 15 years, I've definitely seen some Post-it notes and some pieces of paper right next to the computer with some passwords on it. So, I'm not gonna name anybody, but it definitely happens.
That's all right. It was Tammy Todd, wasn't it?
It was. That's the real reason she's
so
in
for
prison.
Anybody that doesn't know, well, no, you never actually worked in a school district with Tammy Todd, did you? You worked in an adjacent school district. Okay.
Correct. Same state.
Oh, poor Tammy Todd. That's twice during this episode that she's been thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
She's probably turning over in her prison cell bed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, What else comes to mind with new stuff? Obviously, there's been a ton. Did I say tasks and notifications?
Oh, notifications. I haven't played with that personally, so I don't have much. I don't know if it's been popular. I've seen some stuff on the PowerSchool forums where people seem to be trying to use that feature.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's being adopted quite yet, but I definitely see the power in it.
How about and we can come back to that if you want to talk more about it, but before it slips my mind, another thing that comes to me, the page level permissions.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they souped up the interface and the process of setting page permissions based on security groups and roles. Yeah.
1000%. Just like I was saying, that custom links interface is super easy to follow. The page permissions is super easy to follow.
Yeah.
Way, way easier than it was before.
And it can be really, I don't know if any of you have ever played, any of the WWE games back in the day where you can customize a wrestler. Well, I mean, strictly speaking about the move sets, you can either copy a move set from another wrestler, or you can go in there and granularly control everything they do when they're standing, when they're facing, and they're away. And I feel like that the page
coming in a future Sumbits episode, Ryan.
Right.
But I feel like in that point though is that the page permissions is a lot like that. You can copy and change a couple of things, or you can get in there and granularly modify every single thing for every single user group, and that's a good thing. Absolutely, and I've seen a lot of users doing that as an overhaul to the security. Because especially in this day and age, as things change in the world, you want to scrutinize who can see what and where and when and all that. So that really helps with that.
Right.
I feel a little obligated at this point as we're talking about security and we're talking about user groups. For anybody that's involved in security and setting up security, I feel like ever since this has been rolled out, and it's been years and years now, there is confusion in the world on the differences and similarities of user groups and roles. Ryan's got a smirk on his face.
I'm sure we brought it up because, yes, that's always been a thing. And even I had a loose grasp on it for a long time. But yeah, go for it. I understand. No one's alone in that frustration.
Yeah,
and not understanding the two.
I'm not sure I can get into it right now. We don't have a ton of time, but working like help desk at conferences, I've had these conversations over and over and over again, and I still don't have a wonderful way of explaining it. Because of like the integration between security, like roles are great, but you still have to use security groups, right?
The day I like, and so I understand for myself.
I guess you don't have to, but yeah.
The day I did understand it, I remember I had a very perfect description and explanation for it, but unfortunately I didn't write it down. So I remember having a absolute perfect way to share it and tell us. And I did tell it to one other person, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. I'm like, yeah, great. And then I went on my day.
Yeah. And I reach back and figure that out. I think we'd all like to hear that explanation.
Yeah, I think we could spend a whole episode on talking about roles and security and user groups. But in general, I think the roles implementation in PowerSchool was a great enhancement. It really allows you that granular control of, I don't want everyone in the Group 9 administrator group to be able to manage fees, for example. Sure. So I'm going to create a fees role, and anybody with this role can do these things. And I can be in a security group, but also assigned a role, which means you get those permissions plus these permissions. That was like just a high level elevator pitch.
Right. I just have so many asterisks on that general statement of like, well, if
okay, yeah. Fair enough.
But anyway, assuming you're using default role or default group and roles,
Yes. And so I think the takeaway, for anybody listening to us go on about security and roles and groups, is if you don't understand the difference, look it up.
Yeah. Or if you want us to like just nerd out on an entire episode on roles and groups, let us know that too.
Also,
all six of you that would want to watch that.
Shout out to Acme if you're trying to get a beat on your
shout out to Ryan Cockrem specifically. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Ryan, but like there was some cool stuff done at Acme recently, and Ryan was kind of the driving force behind a lot of this. No disrespect to anybody else involved, but he was a big part of making this happen. Go on, Ryan.
I heard it, Cats. We all worked together. It was definitely a group effort. So there was a lot of contributions from a lot of people to make that what it was. But yeah, our Acme tool is one of the which you can get on which is the site? Is it the EasyReg? Or EasyRegPro.com/Acme. Go ahead and continue. I'll confirm that.
So we have. Pretty sure it's Acme dot. Anyway.
Okay.
Figure it out.
We'll figure that out. But Acme is a group. We've discussed it on the podcast before, where we get together, we come up with solutions for the community and make them available for free. And most recently, we got together and put together Acme Tools, which was right now a small suite, just a handful of reports to help a user better understand their configurations in PowerSchool and their settings and their security. And I mean, ideally, hopefully, we'll continue to build on that one. But either way, it stands on its own right now. And if you're curious about your security settings, and even if you're trying to troubleshoot why a user in one chair is not able to access the page that the person sitting next to them is accessing, even though it appears their security and is the same, that can help you identify what's different between the two users.
Eric just disappeared. Now, we were going to get a URL from Eric, but apparently we're not. Don't remember what.
Find it.
Acme.php, I believe. EasyRegPro.com/Acme.php.
Guys, I'm back now. The thing is, I've got the bladder of a third grader, so I had to run across the hall real quick. Is it okay that I shared that? We could cut that part out later, right? Like, that's embarrassing. But the URL is EasyRegPro.com/Acme.php.
Yeah, super normal URL. Super easy to remember.
I feel like there was some sarcasm embedded within that statement.
Maybe a little bit. All right, guys.
Never anything but nice to this guy, and look what I get in exchange.
The first time I've seen you in almost 2.5 years.
I've missed you.
Missed you too, bud. And I've missed this, and hopefully you guys have missed us too. We're going to wrap it up there for today. Let us know what we missed. Obviously, a million new things have come in PowerSchool. Let us know what we didn't mention. What are some big things that you use and take advantage of in the newest versions of PowerSchool? Let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, we've said that on our old episodes. Still the same thing. We still want to hear from you. If you want to be on the show, by all means, reach out to us.
Who you'd like to see on the show.
And who you'd like to see on the show. Let us know. I know I'm happy to be back. I promise we already have things scheduled, so we will have more than one episode this year. I know we're at least going to have 3, but we're trying for one a month again. So welcome back, fellas. Can't wait to join this adventure again. And we will see you all next time.
Good to see you again.
See you
and
guys.
everybody else.
Bye-bye. And scene.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one today. Enjoy more episodes and learn more at mba-link.com.